The documentary you're about to hear is a true account of the events that took place in the summer of 1979. What you're about to watch and witness is a non-fictional recreation of those events. To the best of my ability and memory, I will attempt to explain all the details using video clips, photos, and some extensive research to assist me in the telling of this tale. I'll be using the real names of people, places, and locations while I report to you in a true and concise manner. The music background is 3 songs from the analog recordings of my first ever album produced, a professional studio production entitled Workin For A Livin, which had been completed that year. It wasn't until after the events unfolded that I was able to digest and grasp all that had taken place that summer evening. Anytime I think of or tell the story, it continues to send a chill up my spine and haunts me to this day. In fact, these events will remain a part of my life forever. These are the true accounts of the facts as they happened. To date, I have never encountered anything quite like what had occurred on that trip. One thing for sure, however, if you stay with me to the end, I promise you will be quite surprised to learn the outcome of the story. In this story, there'll be 3 main places of interest. The first one will be Nepenthe Bar and Restaurant. Number 2 is the Echelon Institute, and the third is Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park. I had been living in the town of Santa Cruz, California between the years of 1978 through 1980, and in 1979 I had been dating my then girlfriend Julie for just a few months. She had been living in the Bonnie Doon Mountains of Santa Cruz, approximately 13 miles from where I lived, about a 20-minute drive. Yes, she was my mountain mama, and yes, we were what you would call classic hippies. It was Julie's idea to meet me in Santa Cruz for an excursion through Big Sur. I was unaware she had made reservations to a place known as the Echelon Institute. I would do the driving in my 1978 Plymouth Belvedere, which I had used to drive cross-country from New York to California, with New York license plates still proudly displayed on my bumpers. Julie knew the area pretty good, so she would be leading our little expedition to these 3 places. We were going to sleep overnight in the park, and she reminded me to bring my sleeping bag, along with the change of clothes, so I loaded up the car and on our way we went. Driving south from Santa Cruz through Monterey on the Pacific Coast Highway, also known as Highway 1 or Cabrillo Highway, is the most incredible scenic drive from Pacific Grove to Carmel, which winds along the Pacific coastline and through Pine Forest. The route offers many opportunities for scenic coastline views and passes by the famous Pebble Beach Golf Course. Driving from Santa Cruz along the Big Sur coastline to our first destination would be approximately 75 miles, about an hour and a half to Nepenthe, a very unique world-renowned outdoor restaurant. Opened in 1949, it is still run and operated by the children and grandchildren of the original owners. Poets, celebrities, artists, and travelers go there for the beautiful views. The restaurant is located along a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, 800 feet above. Nepenthe is famous for their ambrosia burger. And in 1963, another incomparable Hollywood couple, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, made a lasting impression while shooting The Sandpiper. They filmed the folk dancing right there at Nepenthe. If ever you read about or research any of these areas of interest, you will no doubt find many references to either Bigfoot, Jack Kerouac, or when Clint Eastwood was then the mayor of Carmel. I ordered up my ambrosia burger, Julie had her veggie sandwich, I drank a few beers, and she drank her wine before leaving for our next destination, the Echelon Institute, approximately 10 miles south from Nepenthe, just a 10-minute drive. The Echelon Institute is many things to many people. Some people call it one of the most sacred places on earth, while others believe it is a pathway to inner worlds. It is an experience that I welcomed with open arms. I had considered that to be a unique surprise gift from Julie that obviously left an impression on me, and something I certainly did not soon forget. The Institute is renowned for its natural healing hot springs and epic beauty, and has long been recognized as a world leader in alternative and experimental education. Julie had always been a nature girl and loved the outdoors, hiking, and spirituality, so this was right up her alley, something I was eager to explore and participate in as well. I began to understand what Echelon was about as we approached and entered into its inner sanctum. It was a dark night, and the moonlight over the Pacific Ocean glistened as I heard the rhythmic waves crashing down below, and under a night sky so clear it looked as though the stars were reaching down to hug me. As I slowly immersed myself into the hot bath water, I immediately saw the silver ring on my right finger turn completely black. It had remained like that for several weeks until I found some silver polish to finally remove it, realizing that was how silver reacts to sulfur. Echelon is open to the public usually between 1 and 3 a.m., which is the same time that Julie and I were there. It was just wonderful sitting peacefully in a hot mineral bath, surrounded by dim lighting under a galaxy of stars. It was nothing short of personal ecstasy. I found an inner peace staring at the dark ocean horizon. It was especially awesome when Julie had me laid down on one of the massage tables overlooking the cliffs and ocean. I was delighted when she began administering a full-body massage. It was an incredible shock to my system when I would switch between the hot sulfur bath and then into the ice-cold water tub, and then back again into the hot mineral bath water. It was truly an invigorating experience. Historical luminaries, to name a few, like Joseph Campbell, Allen Ginsberg, George Harrison, Ravi Shankar, Joan Baez, Jackson Browne, and countless others, would gather there to develop revolutionary ideas, explore transformative practices, and innovative art forms. Echelon today hasn't changed much since then. It's perfect for anyone who wants to explore in any variety of alternative education or personal growth. I would highly recommend any one of their programs, ranging from meditation, massage, yoga, psychology, ecology, spirituality, art and music, and the sacred beauty of the land, the clean air, the pulsing sea, the garden path, and the waterfall, along with its steaming mineral water springs bubbling up from deep within the earth, is in itself incredibly transformative. This is where the story really takes on meaning for me, because one of Echelon's mottos is, "Have reverence for all living things." Their vision is to be a catalyst in a transformation of humankind, working with individuals, integrating body, mind, heart, spirit, and community in a nurturing relationship with the environment. It was approximately 3 a.m. when we left to go to our third destination, Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park, which was about 2 miles north and just a 2-minute drive away. The park is named after Julia Pfeiffer Burns, a respected resident and rancher in the Big Sur region in the early 20th century, who lived in the area for much of her life until her death in 1928. The park is located on land that was originally called the Saddle Rock Ranch because of the rock formation that resembles a saddle in Macquay Cove, also known as Macquay Creek Falls or Macquay Canyon. When Julie and I arrived at the park shortly after 3 a.m., she told me that the park opens at sunrise and closes at sunset, and that we weren't really supposed to be there at that hour, but that shouldn't pose any problems for us since the park rangers would not be in the area. I wasn't about to dispute or question her because 1, I had never been there before, and 2, I was just too tired and exhausted to argue the point. I was hoping that it wouldn't take much longer to reach our destination because I was ready to get some shut-eye. Julie obviously had been there before and knew the ropes pretty good with our resting place already planned out. She led me to a rocky outcropping under a tree surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. If you walked to the edge, you could easily fall from these steep and jagged rocks.